Getting the live.
We're live. Amazing. All right. So thank you everybody for being here for our awesome Q&A with the cast and crew of Resisting Roots. We're live in the Passionflix Founding Members Lounge right now. Very exciting. And just a quick intro of everybody. We have our lovely, we have myself, who's the Director of Development here at Passionflix. We have the lovely Tosca Musk, who is our CEO and founder and also plays Crystal in this movie. We have the wonderful director, Louise Alston. We have the amazing author, Audrey Carlan, and we have our fabulous actor, Trent, Lou Ferrigno plays Trent. I was so close, guys, almost nailed it. Thank you for being here. And the lovely Elizabeth Posey could not join us because she's feeling sick, but we will follow up with her on an Instagram Live next week to make up for it. And our wonderful Allie Whitaker is missing because she has a family emergency, but she did arrange all of these lovely lives for you guys. So big shout out to her for putting this together, and welcome everyone.
Thanks, so happy to be here.
Yeah. And so I'll ask a few quick questions to you guys, and then I'll actually open it up and invite a few of our fans to come into the Zoom with us, and they'll ask their own question, just so you're a heads up of what to expect. So I was hoping we could all quickly just introduce where we're zooming in from in the world, and how your night's been or your day's been.
Yeah, hi, I'm zooming in from a small town in a forest south of Atlanta.
Awesome.
I'm zooming in from LA.
Very cool.
10:04 in the afternoon.
Got it.
Yep, Northern California, small town as well, country.
Kind of like where the book is based.
Exactly.
I'm zooming in from Los Angeles. I tried to make it sexy, but it's all I got.
I don't think you have to try hard to be sexy.
Yeah, you're good.
You're nailing it.
It works.
Really?
So how are we feeling now that the movie is out? Is it exciting? Have you guys been seeing comments?
I want to hear Lou's response.
Oh,
ladies, ladies first.
No. I want to know what Lou thought. This is the first time that he's seen it, and we've seen it before, but I want to know what Lou's response is.
I've been working so hard to be as good as I could possibly be, and I knew that I could do something like this, and it was a matter of who was willing to give me the chance to do something that I could really create a relationship that feels real, and these wonderful moments. And this has been such a great opportunity, and it was one thing filming and saying these beautiful words and working with all of you, but when I saw it, I saw a couple clips when I saw it because I was a little nervous, but I am so happy and I am so excited because I started tearing up because at certain parts, because I try to see it objectively as not myself, but as these characters. And as an actor, I think sometimes you focus on the wrong things. But like, it was so sweet, and there were so many colors to their relationship. And it was such a well-built union of just opposing characters. The arc of each character is just so beautiful, and the music. I mean, I was on the airplane because I just got back from Charleston, and I was humming "When You're By My Side." I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be good, because it stuck with me, and it was so sweet and tender. And some of the shots were so like one shot in particular of me during that thing was like, I was like, oh, but it felt like you were there. Like it felt like you were in this perfect moment that just building and cascading. And I have nothing but wonderful things to say. And I'm so excited for everyone to experience it.
Yeah, the fan response has been pretty great so far. Everyone's been loving it, so it's awesome. Thank you for being a part of it. You really brought Trent to life.
Yeah, it's such my pleasure. Thank you for everything. And
I agree.
So,
and Louise, what's it like seeing it all together now? I'm sure you saw it beforehand.
Yeah, I've seen every single moment of it, and all the moments that nobody else has seen, and from all the different angles. So yeah, I've seen it a lot. But it's funny when you see it when other people are seeing it, it transforms, you know, when it's out there and there's nothing else you can do. And like I love it, and I love the characters, and I love the like Lou said, like the emotional moments, the big tear moments. It's great, and they got there, and it's all about that, like Lou said, the arcs and the structure and the depth of the relationship. So, which was already there, Audrey's genius, and it was just wonderful to be able to explore in that world. So I loved it. I loved it when knowing that other people were seeing it. So that's good.
Awesome. Yeah, you helped bring it to life. You were the director at the helm for this one. Awesome. And Audrey, how has it been seeing the different fan reactions, different comments? Have people just been blowing up your page?
I'm not gonna lie, I totally had like a full-on cry, weepy moment, just because I'm like so overwhelmed with everything, and when you talk about it, and then you do the script, and then you go on site, and then you see the first draft, and then you see the second draft, and then it goes live, and everybody sees it, and you're like, it's been this thing that has built up so much to me, and you get scared, I had like a little scare moment last night where I was like, oh my God, what if people don't like it? And then I was like, that's so silly, because of course they love it. Like, there's no way, it's too good. So I had all those flush of moments, and it was just really like emotional this morning. And my husband, actually, I've been saving it up. We're doing it after this because we want to like Amazon, and he has not seen anything except for the previews. So we want to have like just champagne and popcorn and sit there like we're at the theater on.
Has he read the book?
Love it.
Has he read the book?
No, my husband does not read the book. So he really has no idea what he's going into, other than it's an erotic romance involving yoga and a family.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll.
Well, one thing that Lou was saying on set, that he really wanted this to be a story where guys, the boyfriends, the husbands, could be watching it with the target main female audience, and enjoy it and get it. And some of the comments have been saying that, the husband loves it. So that says a lot about how you're able to make Trent so real, Lou.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's great.
I'm not very like, I'm not cute and pretty like a lot of these like guys actors are, and they have this perfect hair, and they're just so like, oh my God, amazing, beautiful. But then it's like
you just describe yourself there, Louise.
Yeah.
So,
So handsome.
go again with that.
So, I mean, thank you. But, it's when I see films like this, and there's so many, it's like, it's hard for the most part, to connect to the male character, because being a man like me, it's like, I want to vibe with who I would consider a guy. And when I was watching it, I was like, there's no, as limited as the actual baseball stuff is, I still believe that this guy could be this, he's not shredded out of his mind. Right. And he's not totally a sleazeball, even though like he's a player and he loves, but he appreciates women. And I just, it was just, I wanted to have something for everyone, because when I watch certain things and the chemistry's not there, or there's not a relatable figure, for me, I kind of tune out. But if you see a guy that's a dude going through some real sentimental, emotional situations and being open or vulnerable, it kind of opens that to let it be okay for men to, and I see it as like, it allows, if someone's, then that's inspiring for me. So I wanted to be that person for the other people of the fashionistas and fashionistas. I just wanted it to be, and I'm very happy that I tried some things, and I'm happy with how they turned out, and I just really hope that they're all received well.
Yeah, I think everyone is really loving your performance, and think you really encompass the character of Trent. So thank you. And
thank you.
And T, for this. You were Crystal. For the people who might not have tuned in last night, but who are tuning in tonight, can you talk a little bit about what's it like seeing yourself as Crystal in this?
It was weird. It's really weird to see yourself play a character on camera. And I think, I certainly understood, a lot of the work that actors go into. So Audrey sent me an email and asked me if I would play this role. And both of us at the time thought that the role had like 2 lines in it. And I was like, yeah, sure, that's totally fine. It's like, would you like fries with that kind of role? And then because we forgot, because the script, we had the script written before COVID, and so we're like, yeah, that sounds great. Oh, how lovely. I'm so honored. I really was. I was like so honored that Audrey asked me to play this role. And then it was a role that was really important to her. So I was like, okay, great. And then we both read it, and it was 5 pages. 5 pages means 5 minutes of the movie. That's a long time for a non-actor to go in there and do a scene. And it's a pivotal scene. It's a turning point for Viv. It's really important for her. And so I was like, oh my God, I have got to do this justice. So I was like, I called in all my actor friends, and I was like, I just need you guys to teach me how to be an actor. And so they were like, they loved it though. All my actor friends, they were just like, this is amazing. So great. Ooh, like, here are my techniques for this. Here are my techniques for that. And I was like, this is 5 pages. And it took me a month. I had learned those lines. They're like every night and every morning you say those lines, and you say them in different ways, Tosca, and you're gonna learn them. You're gonna feel them. I brought in a chakra guru. I brought in a yoga instructor. I had my chakras realigned. I read books on them. I got little crystals so that I could be like, I know what these crystals mean. I know what these scents are. I was very method. And then very fortunately, Louise, who was like, I'm a little concerned that I'm going to have to direct Tosca in this movie.
That was going to be my follow-up question. What was it like working with Louise as a director?
No, and what Louise suggested, she's like, maybe we should come over to your house and we'll just rehearse with Elizabeth. And I was like, oh, that sounds great. That sounds fantastic. And then they did, and I guess I'll let Louise take it from there. But that was fun. I loved it. It was so much fun.
And I'm sorry, Louise, but may I say, Tosca, but from a structural standpoint in terms of comedy and delivery, and I'm not blowing smoke anything, but I'm like, your turns, where the comedy was, the genre, the relationship, it was so great. Like we were seeing these characters and this relationship happen. And so I was just like, it was so great. And it's added so much. Louise.
Thank you.
Well, the work shows up, like the work that an actor does shows up on screen. Anything that you do that gives the depth, that adds your layers, it's you can see it on the screen, and you can absolutely see the work that Tosca did. So I will tell anybody that that it's a great performance, and that it is about the work that Tosca put in. So.
Well, I had a very supportive co-star, lead, obviously. I was working with her and with Elizabeth, and a great director. So thank you so much. It was a wonderful opportunity. Thank you, Audrey, for convincing me to do it. I had so much fun. I really did. It's like it was very freeing, and also made me realize exactly how much work all of our talent put into every single role that they do. Because if I had to work a month on 5 pages, just imagine the work that Lou and Elizabeth had to put in for the 100 pages that they had to do.
But as an actor, you don't even see if what you're doing is working till it comes out. So it's like this whole months, 3, 4, 5 months before, you're like, oh my God, until you get to a point where you can know what you're doing, and you can you know what certain things are and what angles to do. But I mean, you, for having no experience, I mean, it was just like, it was so wonderful, and it just added so much, and it was just so great.
Thank you.
Any actor that you cast, it's not just about technique, it's about the essence of their person and how that resonates with the character. And of course Tosca did. It's something that Audrey knew, and it was an obvious choice. So there's a lot of Tosca herself that comes through in terms of the resonance of that performance. So
yeah, it's awesome. And I would be curious if any fans felt this way, but maybe it's because I work with you every day, T, but anytime I see you in something, or if I hear your voice in one of our movies, I'm just like, oh, that's my boss. Like it was hard for me at first to see you as Crystal, the character, but then the more we watched it, I was like, oh no, yeah, she's Crystal.
Oh no.
Like Tosca, she looked like
Yeah.
Crystal to me. Like when I saw it, I was like, she like curled her hair and she had a vibe and a color, her makeup was different, her clothing just fit, the tone of her voice was different. And I feel like she literally stepped into Crystal's shoes and said, I'm gonna be this mother figure. I'm gonna be this woman of power that tells you it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to go out and take something you want just because you want it, as long as you're kind and you're good and you're consensual.
Right.
It's fine. There's no rules about these things. It's you're a grown woman. Do what you want to do with your life, you know?
And I think it's actually really great, Audrey, because that is so much of the mission behind Passion Flicks and everything that we discuss with all of our authors and the reason why we do what we do. So those lines were just super genuine to me because I 100% believe them. But here's the thing. I'm also the executive producer along with Audrey of the movie. And so if I was bad, believe me, I would have cut myself out of the movie. I'm very quick to trim. I was like, ooh, you can cut those lines. I did not come off well. But I think we kept most of them. I think we kept all of them. So it was pretty impressive.
It sounds like you were pretty pleased with your own performance. That's good.
I was a little embarrassed, but there was a reason. The lines had to be said. And I was like, I don't know how we're going to cut around them, but I was ready. I was ready to cut that scene if it wasn't working.
And I think was your scene the last one on one of the scenes that we filmed on the last day of filming?
No, was it the last day of filming? I didn't think
It was because I did.
Yeah,
I think it was.
so to go out with a bang, T, you were
There you go.
There
you go. It was in that last week. I thought it was like the second last day or something like that. But yeah, it was around then. Yeah.
Cool.
And we shot it in the Passion Flicks head offices. And the actual scene takes place in my actual office that was redecorated to look like Crystal's office. So it was kind of funny to walk in there because it's not what our office looks like. And if you guys, when you come back, it's very different. It looks like an office. But they turned our office, which is a former pharmacy, into a yoga studio. And Crystal's office was this sort of yoga guru.
It was cool. It was
thing.
cool. Lauren, you should take a screen frame of her sitting on that desk, all messy, and mat it and frame it and put it in a new office and be like,
Definitely.
this is a
That's a
good
great
one.
idea.
Exactly. All the
That's
gifts from
great.
now on are going to be crystals. People are going to be like, here's your
I
crystals.
will happily send you many crystals.
Crystals and fragrances.
Oh my God, he's wearing it.
Oh yeah.
Ew.
Oh yeah.
Horrible ones.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. So I think I might open it up to a few of our fans we have in the waiting room right now. I'm gonna let Kathy in and she'll ask her question.
If it's a Kathy, I know. I love her.
And then it's the connecting to audio fun times.
It is.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. We can see just your eyes.
Oh wait, it said did not.
There we go.
Are you there?
Yeah. Kathy, you're muted.
There you are.
We can't hear you. Hold on.
Who are you talking? I'm gonna crack up.
Everybody's got to figure out Zoom. Love it.
This is like, yeah, cocktail parties in the digital age.
It really is.
Are you there, Kathy? Connected to audio yet? And it's annoying because I can't help her on this side. It's all her.
There's your audio. Normally by your name, you can see if you're muted.
Little mute button. Oh wait, did she find it? I just love her finger moving over the screen.
No, we're gonna have to go
Here,
back.
So close.
here, Lee, go back to the waiting room.
You're like, you
again.
can do this, Kathy.
Hold on, I'll let her back into the waiting room and we'll see if adding her back in helps at all. So I can do something from my side. Anything, Kathy?
Kathy is connecting to audio.
Oh,
Join with audio.
yay.
Yay.
Audio.
Oh, wait, but now it's muted.
It's muted. It says
No,
muted.
now hit the mute button.
Muted.
Yes.
Oh, there she is. Yeah, we
Again?
didn't-
Now hit the mute button.
Here, wait, Kathy, mute the Facebook Live if you can.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. So
You're
what's your
welcome. Sorry
question?
about that.
No, you're fine. So what question do you have?
My question actually was for Elizabeth and Lou, but since Lou's there, I'll ask that. Besides the baseball, have you had any yoga experience before? And if so, how did you train for this role?
Wait, now Lou's frozen.
Hey, he freezes in a beautiful face. Like,
Oh, wait,
what?
there he is. Wait, Lou,
Lou, are you
man.
there?
we're just full of tech issues. Oh, wait, there he is. There he is.
All right. Hi.
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 Did-
I think I'm
did you
getting
hear
Hi.
her question?
it's spotty.
It's fine. Did you hear her question?
I did not.
Ah,
I
her-
don't-
yeah. ask it again.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Well, no, you can ask it again.
Okay.
I don't want to take this.
Besides the baseball, have you had any yoga training before? And if so, how did you train for this movie?
I have. I had 2 reconstructed knees from football.
Oh.
And growing up with a father that was, I mean,
The Hulk.
quite literally the Incredible Hulk, you know, I knew that I was always athletic, but there was never enough for me to put into my exercise. And I did yoga a couple times because I've always been flexible. And it really resonated with me until the pandemic, and I was starting to go more regularly, but there's nothing like it. So when this came up, it was almost too good to be true. It was like this baseball player that was, you know, I've auditioned for a number of romantic comedies, romantic films that, I mean, they don't even take a second look. And I just accepted that I'm just, you know, an actor that's, you know, not for romantic films. But I believed I could do it. But when this happened, I was like, this is just too perfect. So the transition into doing yoga was actually harder to pretend I didn't know how to do yoga. So when I was struggling in the studio in the beginning, you know, I just kind of put myself back in the place of like, I just don't know about. So that's why I kept looking around, because I caught myself so many times when I started doing yoga, like everyone's in poses and I'm just like, I don't want to be the only one not doing it. And then I have to catch up. And so I kind of put myself in that headspace there. But, you know, yoga has always been a part of my life, coincidentally. So this was just kind of par for the course.
You did amazing. The movie is absolutely amazing. I'm so happy for all of you. It was a pleasure enough to meet you in May and Passion Con. All of you, actually. And I
Yeah.
just say I met you all. So, but thank you from the bottom of my heart. You did a great job.
Aw.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Kathy.
Thanks,
Thank
Kathy.
you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for
You're all
joining.
welcome.
Thank you.
I agree with Kathy. Lou, you were fantastic. I loved the movie. It was so
Oh,
beautiful.
thank you. I thank you so much. And it's like, I wanted to, you know, it's the one thing about about an actor is it's like, it's so much more about not what you're doing, but like about creating these relationships. And also there's an adherence to this book that, you know, there's no movie without this book. So for me to just show how different I am or whatever, you know, I have an obligation for me professionally to the fans of Audrey's work to not only match to a point the character, but also take it, because like it's kind of got to be frustrating when all you have is a voice for Trent, other than what you have in your mind when you read, but you have an audiobook, then you have the voice. And so, but it's like, it's always the book is better than the movie, always that. And I was just like, well, what if we take it to a point where we're like, how often do you ever see a movie that's better than the book? And so I was trying as hard as I could to just make this character 3-dimensional and to inject some of myself in there where I didn't know and I didn't have Trent to ask how to do certain things. But it was, if we hinged on the relationship and we hinged on this arc of finding each other through this practice, I mean, I was very, very, very lucky that this was and my relationship with my mother was eerily similar to
Oh, wow.
to the film. And so it, in a sense, like you get what you get with the book, but the book can only do so much in terms of living through these experiences, you know, and seeing them put forth for you. And, you know, I've been studying and training for years, and I've always wanted to have, I can show something because I can be romantic. I can be sweet. I promise.
You proved it.
And until this, it was SWAT, superhero, saving the day. And, you know, and I knew I could do it, and I knew I could, and I'm so happy and so grateful that this was the platform, and and Passion Flix is just doing such amazing things, because there's such a huge populace of fandom that, you know, there's certain movies that are made that are great. Some are, you know, they hit the mark, but this is like, there's so many real aspects to everything. And the book was adapted so well. The sets are so different and eclectic. Like Tosca's office was so rich with all these funky things. And even the elevator scene, I mean, we made it work. Like we made it work. And I felt something special when we were doing it. And I'm so happy just with how it all turned out.
To describe the shooting of the elevator scene.
Oh,
Lou.
The elevator scene.
We'll
Let's
have
let Colleen ask a question.
Oh, sorry, Colleen.
That's okay. Hi.
Okay, thank you
Hey.
for coming in to ask your question.
All right. Well, wonderful job, everybody. I stayed up very, very late when I got home from work last night to watch it.
Hey.
So I ended up finishing it up around 1 a.m. But anyway, so great job. My question is kind of a big one. I wanted to know, I don't know, can be for anybody, just kind of what do you feel like your biggest takeaway, the biggest thing that you learned while making this project was?
Lou, do you want to answer?
Well, I guess the thing that I learned was that an actor's work is hard.
Yep.
But a director's work, I have to say, is harder.
There you go.
Because they have to deal with people like me who may not know how to act. No, I mean, like, my takeaway from watching this movie is, again, something for Passion Flix. It's just a little different from all the other things that we have released before, which is really important to me. And it focuses so much on family. And that was very important to me. So the heart and the family and the struggle of this one woman who is willing to do anything to support her younger siblings, and provide them with opportunity. And so just, I mean, every time I was like going to that house and seeing their struggle, I was just like, oh, so beautifully done.
Can't imagine
and
it.
honestly done, very genuine. And I really, that was my takeaway. It was like a genuine family story, with real problems and some nice solutions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, for me, it was, some of the lessons I learned on the film were a lot of the same lessons that Trent learns. That sometimes something really hard is the thing that pushes you to the next level. So we had a lot of rain, and we had lightning strikes. We had a tornado warning. Poor Elizabeth
Weather in Georgia.
was away for a day. Oh, it was nutty. There was a lot of challenges, but we pulled together, and so I was pushed to like think of the second and third ideas, and things were compacted and that sort of stuff. And so, but I learned, and I think I learned this often, is that sometimes when you push to the second and third idea, they are better than your first idea. And so being pushed is good. And which is exactly the Trent and Genevieve story. Both characters are pushed to something bigger and better.
That's true. Yeah.
I took away it was very important to me, the idea of communication beforehand. I ask a lot of questions. I've always have. My teachers would always tell my mom, like, he asked the most interesting questions. And I would just always be curious. So I naturally becoming an actor, but how open, and it was, for the most part, it was Louise, Elizabeth, and myself in the trenches. And I bombarded Louise with questions constantly, some frivolous, some important, but I wanted to know, to get everything. And she was so open. And Louise, you were so wonderful with taking input and some of the scenes that were we didn't really know, we talked them through, which I'm not very familiar with in terms of getting my opinion thus far in my career on a scene. But when we worked together to get things across, it may not have been what initially was supposed to happen based on location, based on, there are moments when I kind of just, I got a little frustrated, but with that is par for the course with all the emotion that's flying, because when you see the film, it's her and I, it's two people, but yet there's 50 people in the background. And it's such a challenge to create this this intimate moment with, like, I'm talking 4K HD up in your face. I mean, you can't hide anything. But I felt safe with Louise, and I felt safe with Elizabeth to do these. And because we talked this thing to death, we met before, we met over drinks, we met outside, we met many times in different capacities. And it was constantly a pursuit of finding this truth of the material through the truth of these relationships, and finding that vein of not being, and even the intimate moments were so tasteful, and I'm watching these and I'm like, oh my God, my mom is going to watch this, and my aunt and everything. But like, I'm so proud of it. And I'm so happy that like, it makes everyone feel who sees it something, because even if it's like, whew, but we got there through being sure of the decisions we were going to make. And that was through communication. And if you parlay that into relationships, you parlay that into work, any type of form of communication, just the more of it, I believe, just comes, you find yourself more clear, more understanding. Both sides can come to an agreement. But it starts with a willingness to communicate. And everybody on this film was so open and workable and hangable, and everyone was so fun. And I'm on a show right now that everything, a lot of secrets. I don't even get the script. I don't know what's going on. I end up in a boat. Next thing you know, in the next 2 episodes, I don't even know where I'm going, but I guess we're going to this place. All that secrecy, I think, tends to cause an actor to pull away. And it's like, and I don't ever want to feel like that. And in this film, it was just so open and wide. In any take, I can look at Louise and she's with me on the same note, even if I'm frustrated, even if I'm just in this, she was always available. And Elizabeth would same thing. And it was just so nice to just be. And that's, I think, one thing about this world now is like, people don't communicate effectively to get the point across. And I think this was just a reinforcement of those communication principles.
That's great that you took that away from this, because that is something we try to emulate here at Passionflix. Tosca said this before about communication between not only the characters, but it's great when it comes out through the actual filmmaking process as well, that you're all just a team. And Audrey, you were there for some of the filming process. What did you take away from getting to experience and see these characters in real life? And
the amount of work that goes into something like this, people will never ever understand it. You really think, oh yeah, they work hard. It is wild, you guys. It is next level work. They're working 16 hours sometimes. They're like, you've got one changing clothes over here, you've got the camera girl like right in your face taking a picture, then fixing your hair, then taking a picture. And it's like, I don't know how actors and directors can just really move through these pieces of things that in my mind were so instrumental and important at the time when I was writing them. Maybe I was crying while writing it. Maybe I was in such joy. And then to see it happen, like I remember the first day I showed up and was standing in the gallery and looked through the image, and it was the scene where Lou was laying across the couch in his apartment in some random person's house. And it's all like a party has happened, and you could see Louise is getting all the perfect angles. You can see the camera gal is taking care of business. I will say I've never been on any work site that had so many women on it ever in my entire life. And I've been to a lot of media events and a lot of photography things and modeling and all of that stuff with my career. And it's like, I've never seen that many women. So the fact that everybody's working together and making something so intricate, I started crying. Like the first time I'm watching him, he's like, wake up, you piece of shit. I'm just like, that was literally the first line of the book. And to see that happen in person was just I don't know. It's something I'll never forget. So basically my takeaway is dreams come true. And this is proof.
I love that. That's awesome.
Amazing.
Well, thank you for coming in and asking your
Yeah,
question,
thank
Colleen.
you guys. I want to just do a real quick shout out. This was if y'all hadn't optioned this, I wouldn't have started reading Audrey. So thank you for introducing me to her.
Yeah, we
And
love
Louise,
that.
it was really, really lovely seeing your work again. I'm really,
Thank
really happy
you.
that I
Thanks,
can't wait to see you
Colleen.
again in the future.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thanks, Colleen.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I think we lost Lou.
Yeah, I don't know where Lou went. He's not back in the waiting room
Oh,
yet.
well.
Hopefully he'll be back in a minute.
Oh, well.
No, but I do love that we do have so many women on our sets. We try to have as many women as we can. We don't discriminate against men either, but there's definitely a lack of females sometimes in the film industry. So anytime we can
Behind the camera, one doing the script in the
Yeah.
ear. I don't know what their job titles are. You know,
Supervisor.
yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
it was-
it's
it was awesome.
it's great when we can have a lot of females on set. So that's nice. Hi Lou, welcome back.
Hi, I'm so sorry.
You're
Connectivity.
fine. You're fine. We just said a quick goodbye to Colleen and I'm about to let in the next person to ask their question. This is Elizabeth. Connecting to audio, that's a good sign. Hi Elizabeth, nice shirt.
Hello, nice shirt.
Yeah. I think we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah,
there
we were
Yay,
just saying
okay,
you're wearing a
worked.
really nice shirt there.
you are.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I got it at this party I went to a couple months ago.
Party,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, it's so great to see everybody again.
Hi, yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, we're
Good.
good. We're good. Thanks for coming in and asking your question. So what's your question?
Thank you. Can I ask like a sort of like just yes or no question to start?
Sure.
Okay. Random, but Lou, were you able to do the splits before filming this? That was the question that came up during our while we were watching it last night.
Really?
Yeah.
Um,
Did he do that?
Yeah, there, I would like to say that we had some CGI on there, but no, I mean, that was something that I've always been very flexible about. And I offered that to Louise and, I wanted to
Some
take,
drinks. He says, yeah, I can do the splits. I said, show me. He showed me. And I said, that's going in the
There we
movie.
go.
yeah, right then and there, I dropped to the splits.
I was
So,
definitely impressed because I was like, I can't do a split. It's just very
That's
cool that you
awesome.
could. It's a special
I don't know
skill.
how that
Yeah.
happened, but yeah.
Okay, thank you for just
Doing the
listening to
split?
my random curiosity. So my actual question is that a lot of the other leading men have commented over the years that they learned something from Tosca and Passion Flick's guide to seducing and romancing women. And I'm curious what your takeaway was from that.
I believe it's actually the Tosca School for Gentlemen Callers.
Yeah.
There we go. I couldn't think of the name of it when I sent in my question.
But I think those are more the people that have worked with me directly, but maybe the men from Louise's movies have, but maybe Lou did. Let's find
Or
out.
just from the experience of like meeting the fans or being a part of a movie like this, did you learn anything new in terms of being a gentleman?
My mother is everything to me, and she,
Aw.
and it's been, she's just so wonderful, and I learned a lot from her, but also it's actually a lot easier than men might think. There's 2 steps: shut your mouth and listen,
Yeah.
and that's it. And then also, I ask a lot of questions, and that actually comes really handy when you're trying to get to know a woman. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. That's it.
Communication.
I love that.
Yeah.
Huh?
Communication.
Communication. Yes. And that's
Communication is
under
key.
the umbrella of communication. Bada
Yeah.
bing. There you go.
I love that. Awesome. Thank you.
It's definitely the questions Lou asks.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
your favorite
I-
question he asked, Louise?
Ooh.
Like the most just
I
random
don't know.
oddball out there question.
God, I don't even remember them. But I do remember that we had a great conversation throughout the whole process. So I don't remember the actual questions though. There was just different things of what do you think this means? And let's talk through the mother son relationship. Let's talk about the other women that that Trent has been with. Talking about, like, shall we talk about the sex on the Mustang scene?
Yes.
The sex on the Mustang scene, and a particularly involved conversation about why exactly things turn out the way they do for Trent in that particular occasion.
What was that?
I think you need to be a little clearer.
I got to be clear. I'm a passion flicks director. I can say it. The one thrust orgasm.
Oh.
Yes. And the question is
how, and we were talking about how and why, and I think we decided that we talked a lot about how Trent must have spent a lot of time making sure that he was always wearing a raincoat and being very safe all the time, and that this was his first time of ever not being safe. So, and that just that whole,
Right,
not
like
just the intimacy up until the point of going for it, but just that the whole moment of something that he'd never done before was overwhelming.
One of the first scenes was us with outside before, when we get into the Mustang, and then on the third week, I believe it was the scene getting out of the Mustang.
Right.
So in terms of that being such a climactic event of different than, Trent, given his past and his history, I mean, if he were to be reckless, there would be a high probability that, he's not that lucky, like things could happen. But he made sure, based on who he knows he's been with, to his mother, and his, every other week he's in a different city. So he has to be very adamant. So I really liked that there was a real primal getting into the car. And I kind of did this look where she went off, and I was like, it's almost like an animalistic thing takes over, to where any sense of preconception or will just fly out the window. It's like, it doesn't matter. So, but it comes from a rooted place. It comes from a real place of, like, and the idea of, you get caught up in the moment.
Right.
And this was, and this was, and I wanted it to feel like he was caught up in the moment. And because it was there's so many, every instance we have where after that in the bedroom, like, they're like kind of bickering like teenagers. And then there's the scene when we're laying down for the first time, and it's just like this real mature, connected, like real thing. And I wanted to have all these different shades, but I got to tell you, like, I actually it's like the most vulnerable man can be is right during that moment, and to show it on screen was a challenge just for me as a man, because it's just like, but if I knew that if you don't commit, you don't there's no effect. So like, if any guy's watching this, or any woman, and it's like, and I'm rushing through it, you can feel that. So where if I just kind of, I don't want to say it's embarrassing, but I'm embarrassed for the character because it's so unlike him. But also, like, something clicks in people's minds when they see something that's very vulnerable and open and unexpected, that it's okay for them. It's like, it's okay to do these things but if it's not committed, then it's and I've seen a number of ejaculatory kind of acting things that the guy didn't commit, and either the chemistry wasn't there, or there wasn't this thing, and it was like a letdown for a viewer, because you're not involved as a viewer, you're just watching and you're invested in this story, and the last thing you want is for that instant to be not as bright as you wanted it to be. So
Like
I
it kind
think
of takes you out of it.
absolutely. And I think the minute, I mean, you're locked in as long as both characters, if you're in this, that's what it's people, and it's so easy to be distracted as a viewer to see something like, that's why last looks are so critical. Like you could have this great connected scene and then wow, I have this weird hair going up that's just like strange, and it takes people out of it.
Continuity is so important.
Yes. But it was, I mean, I'm so happy that it's done. It looks great and it fits in the vibe of because he afterward and Louise let me have these moments of really, he didn't know what to do. He was scared because it was all rooted from the fear. All of a sudden, the fear. It was not angry. I was not upset. It was, I'm just scared based on my old thinking. And that's why in the room,
the character was out of his comfort zone.
Correct. And then when we get in the room, that's when it's like, if it happens, then we're parents. Like I'm allowed to think it's okay for the future whereas this guy never thought of anybody seriously.
Right. It kind of shifted his worldview pretty instantly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool. Great question.
Just so you know, I have a live chat going with some of my friends and they're loving your insight into your character.
Oh yeah.
Great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you. I'll let you guys get to the next question.
Elizabeth. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Elizabeth.
Awesome. And I think we have time for one more question. And Nicole was next, so I'll let her in. Connected audio again. Lots of good questions tonight.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, hi.
Good to see you all again this evening.
Yeah, thanks for joining us again.
Thanks. So just a quick question. What was all of your favorite, like either whether it was behind the scenes or on set, what was your favorite memory or moment?
Good question. Audrey, do you want to start us off? Putting you on the spot.
Me first, favorite. Wow. I mean, meeting Lou in person, meeting Elizabeth in person was kind of one of those, like, it's very surreal and strange to look at somebody that, what was really cool is Tosca and Louise let me look at their favorites of the people they thought were the best possible candidates for a potential role. And, Louise and I talked together through them all and really fit and what didn't, and something she had people do over again. And so that was a really amazing process for me to feel like I had a tiny hand in something that was going to be so instrumental. And then to actually come on set and meet them in person was so weird because I didn't want to mess up. I wanted to be just like, oh, I'm like really cool and I'm an author and I do this. This is what I do. These are my characters. But then it's like it's taking on its own life, and they are now taking ownership over something that is really special to them. And Louise is taking over something that's really special to her. And it's just, I think the growth, the moment where I realized that this is more than a book I wrote. It's something that has affected other people's lives. It's connected. People have that as something that's theirs. And that's a really, really special moment for me to feel like I spearheaded something that went to such a gift, such a larger process for everybody involved.
That's awesome.
Louise?
I loved finding that moment. For me, the most important moment for the film is that halfway point when Trent sleeps over for the first time, and we shot it from above. Lou and Elizabeth, that whole moment of she's not going to have sex with me. Give me a kiss. Well, this is one of your questions. Like, what is this? I said it's like the kiss is the default prize. After the kiss, it's like, well, hold my hand. It's like you're trying to find what is
Give
the
me
what is the
something,
thing you can
anything.
get? What can you get? What can you get? You're trying to get something, and then lying down in the bed, and then Elizabeth curls into him, and Trent just goes, well, this is it, everything changes for him.
Mm.
And when Lou and Elizabeth took that moment for themselves, of course, it came to me from Audrey, and then of course, and then Lou and Elizabeth took it, and even just the moment of I Elizabeth, what if it actually, no, you'll see it when we do it. And they just did a little moment of him enjoying being held and holding her hand, and it was just something that, like, all of us created, like Audrey and myself and Carrie, the cinematographer, who sort of placed the camera here, placed the camera up there, and of course Lou and Elizabeth found the moment, made it real. So yeah, that was my favorite moment in the film.
That's cool. To piggyback off that, just from watching it, I mean, my favorite, I get to go to set when we have fans come to visit, our founding members and signature members, so it's fun to come and visit set and be there with them. But my favorite moment from watching the movie was definitely their breakfast in the morning with the kids, and he was making pancakes, and it was just like so sweet. So that's one of my favorite parts from the movie.
I have three. One was meeting Tosca, and her telling me that I had been in her pile for 3 years, and I didn't. And I was flattered because I send in auditions and I move on, and I was like, she's known who I was for this time. And so, and to find out that Tosca's oddly normal and so just bright and warm. And look, Hollywood, there's a lot of facade, and I didn't know what to expect. I mean, look at this woman. She's a juggernaut, and she's creating this amazing thing. She's blazing this trail. She's lovely in interviews. And I was a little nervous. I was like, is she going to be, who knows? And she was so cool. And I was like, this is going to be so great. And she welcomed us into our home, and I had a normal meal with this woman. And this woman, she was open to my questions. As we know, I asked a ton of questions, and it was so, because at that point I was signed on, and she was so open to and letting us do our thing. That was so wonderful. Second was when I met Audrey, but then she at the house, and I felt I was this character. I read the book, and then I just had this idea. I was like, this is sounding really, I could pull this off. And then she just told me about the auditions, and they loved it. And that was just the most flattering thing, that she created this wonderful character. And I was able to portray it, and I was gonna die if it didn't meant I was gonna do whatever I could to make it happen. And I think one of my favorite moments was after the first week. It was tough because it was rolling. It was 5 days, long hours. And the last week I had a little bit of a kind of a tiff, and we had 2 more full weeks. And I asked Louise to have a talk. And I had a sense that Louise she was prepared for whatever, because we were signed on to do this. Right. And although I'm very passionate, and in the moment with all this stuff, it's my responsibility to create this and take this handoff from Audrey and make it real. And when I sat with Louise and I just said, I want you to be very clear. I want to be very clear. I'm having a wonderful time, and I am so excited. And from when I saw her face, I just felt like she did not expect that, because I got a little upset on set at one point. It was late, blah, blah, blah. And from that point on, I said, I will do whatever you need to do to make this happen. And our communication from that point was just like, boom. And I was like, I want you to shine. I want Elizabeth to shine. I want everyone to be, and it was up to me to take this leadership role and to not let the little things, because this is part of being in the spotlight, is you need to just push through. And I'm happy. And I didn't know Louise very well, and she accepted it, and she was even more receptive to me. And she was, and I'm so happy that moment happened. I think from there on, it was just smooth sailing, because it was basically, I got her back. I told her, I was like, I got your back, whatever, this guy's saying, or this can't be done because of this condition, I was like, I'm going to be there for you. Because we left off on Friday night the first week, and it was just a little shaky, and we kind of just clicked, and then we buckled into the roller coaster. And from there, at least we both knew that we had an ally that we could count on, and we were going to make this wonderful thing happen.
That's great. That's great that you
Communication.
guys got through that and carried forward doing everything you could to make it great. Because right now we're looking at a pretty awesome finished project. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
And Tosca, what was your favorite part?
Well, like Lou, I had a bunch. So firstly, I always love seeing the authors on set. And so when I came to set and Audrey was on set and she was with the actors and she just was like gushing and super happy, I was like, oh my God, all that stress of what I go through trying to make sure that we're portraying the characters exactly as the author wants them. I was like, and she just, Audrey, you just seemed so happy and you were just so energetic. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is great. This is going to be fantastic. Life is going to be good. So just seeing that moment there, and the actors were interacting with her, and it was really wonderful. And of course, personal favorite, I enjoyed performing in it. It was really fun. That was a great takeaway. But from the movie itself, and a scene that I think that both Lou and Elizabeth did so well was their first fight. That fight scene, before the makeup sex business, but that first fight outside when they're like having this argument, and it's a very real it's a very real back and forth with throwing out concerns and then addressing them and de-escalating the fight, and then going, hey, we just had a fight and we're okay now. This is what it's like to be in a relationship. And I like that. I thought that was portrayed really well by Elizabeth and Lou, and directed really well, and obviously very beautifully written. And so I like that. And of course, I love Lou and Elizabeth. And when they came over to my house for dinner, they played with my kids, and then so now my kids love them, and so that just makes everything a winner. And
that was the first scene of the first day. Like that's where the whole thing started, is that fight. And we had to build all these before and what's coming, and that was the first take of the whole entire project.
That's insane. That was well done. I think we lost Louise. And
yeah,
Nicole, thank you so much.
She might have had tech issues. She isn't back in the waiting room yet. But thank you, Nicole. Did you have a favorite moment from the movie after seeing it?
It's so hard to pick at so many. Honestly, I loved the entire thing. Like Elizabeth said, we have like a little group chat, and we literally talked about it after watching it for like 3 to 4 hours last night, back and forth in our group chat of like 5 or 6 of us. And we couldn't stop talking about it. We just absolutely loved it and adored it. And just one real quick, if you guys don't mind, one more question. Sammy, I don't know if you remember her, Lou, from PassionCon, but she met you right on the end of the red carpet, and she just had one question for you. How did you feel about like preparing for your role and like stepping into that role with like playing for like Rowan and like the relationship that you guys had together?
With Rowan, I mean, Brady was so cool. He was such a cool kid. It really, I have a little brother, but Brady was much younger. But I actually, for about 9 years, I worked when I was coming up as an actor, I worked at a rehab center for teens in Malibu, post, and it's all, depression, anxiety, self-mutilation, suicidal, all this stuff. And I was able to really grasp an idea of, and me being this imposing guy in a gym facility, these kids immediately didn't want to connect with what I'm telling them. You're on my terms. So I had to learn how to listen and get through to them. And when with these young kids who had a lot of problems, like when I needed them just to work out, and they had to just, because I know it's going to better their heart, their soul. It's going to be so much better than doing drugs, than doing anything. And that prepared me a lot, just to be present and just to be listening. And I've grew up looking and admiring athletes as well. And I actually felt like, this star baseball player, and it made it a lot easier to have talent around me that was helping me and being generous and committal to what they're doing and the script. And it was so lovely. So
Awesome.
Thank you so much for answering both questions, all of you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Nicole.
Thanks, Nicole.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a good
So I literally have Louise attempting to join again. And I said admit, but it just says joining. So I think she's having some tech issues. But yeah, this was our lovely live and Q&A. Do you guys have anything last thing to say to our fans before we sign off?
I'm super excited that y'all are loving the movie. Let us know your thoughts. Spread the word. Thank
Spread
you.
the word, show us, tell us, tag us so we can see what your thoughts are. And just again, thank you, Lou. Thank you, Tosca, for making this happen, because it's out. It's our baby is birthed.
Yes, it is out there. I'm so excited, and it's beautifully done. And you know, Audrey, this is basically starts from that conversation that you and I had in 2017. So thank you so much for saying yes. And I really hope everybody loves this story as much as I do. And thank you, Lou, for portraying the character so beautifully. And thank you, Elizabeth. I hope you're feeling better, but she just knocked it out of the park as well. And Louise did a fantastic job. And Lauren, thank you so much for hosting us.
Of course.
and go see the movie. It's really, really good, but it's great with a glass of passion flicks wine.
Hey.
It just adds something.
Oh my God,
to the-
Lou actually had the passion flicks wine as well on the right as I got to right as I got it at home.
I love that. We also did not.
I think
pay
it was
him
the
to pick
passion
us.
flicks wine that actually made it as we were able to be free.
Exactly.
That's it.
Tosca should be sending us all wine on movie release day. It's gonna be a whole new thing. Tosca's gonna be like, all right, let's send everybody wine.
There you go. I love it, guys. Well, thank you again for being a part of this. And thanks
Thank you
to
so
everybody
much.
who watched. And
Tosca and I meet again tomorrow.
oh,
Yes,
yeah.
we are. Instagram Live tomorrow.
Thank you for the reminder. Yeah, tune into the Instagram Live tomorrow with Tosca and Audrey. And thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.